Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subscribed if you are. If you're not, do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're on YouTube, while you're at it, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. Let's get into this conversation/reality chat. Guys, I just wanted to say something and I'll elaborate a little bit. After watching this most recent episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, which to me, it's ironic that the show is titled something that I really don't even believe genuinely exists with the core group of couples. The three that it started with, the first of which we know is not even married anymore. So that goes without saying. There definitely is no real love. And I believe with Melody, there's no love lost when it came to Hotel, because he never really loved her. He loved the benefit of being with a woman who was all about marriage when she was married, was all about trying to have some semblance of success, a successful household, a successful marriage, a successful family. And she worked hard and he benefited off of that. But he just was, in my opinion, I don't believe he's attractive at all. That's just my personal opinion. And beauty definitely is in the eye of the beholder. I get that. But for me, even if he wasn't the douchebag that he is, he's just not my type. But two, I believe when a person displays so many unattractive qualities, it in turn makes them physically unattractive as well. And I believe if more women felt that way, it would prevent them from getting into situations with people like him, because it's dangerous, it's toxic, and it's not going to get you anywhere that's going to benefit you in the end. So we know that love and marriage does not exist with Melody and Hotel. All right. Then you've got Maurice and Kimmy. Maurice, he is a licensed attorney, I guess. And he tries to come across as being extremely intelligent when he speaks. But he's said and done a number of things that just turns me off when it comes to him. And then you've got Marsau, who it just seems like his bottom row of teeth doesn't exist, because it seems like I never see it when he speaks. And I'm not even trying to make fun. It's just weird. And it's also weird that he is the younger brother of Maurice, and Maurice looks younger than him. I'm sorry, but Marsau looks old. He looks way older than he is, but he just looks old. And he has a similar, in my opinion, personality to Hotel. But because he's married to someone like Tisha, who tries to come across as acting as if she has some sense of self-respect and dignity, I just don't believe that she has it. I believe she has extremely low self-esteem. And I also believe that she just is one of those people that believes that I got the ring, I'm married, I'm a wife, I'm wifey, and that's all that really matters. But because they're on this public display, she tries sometimes to make it seem as if she's not going to stand for the disrespect of him, but he continues to disrespect her over and over again. The men of Love and Marriage Huntsville, for the most part, are trash when it comes to this core group. Now, Tiffany and her husband, I'm really indifferent towards them. I don't have a problem with her husband, to be honest with you, at all. I actually like the fact that he stands up for his wife. And yeah, his wife can be messy. We get that. But they're on a freaking reality show, and somebody's got to be messy. Somebody's got to, bring the drama. And yeah, sometimes she may go overboard. When she came on her first season and she made some comments about Kimmy's stepson, who is Maurice's son, that was uncalled for. She should not have come out into this public area and made those comments about him. So that definitely was wrong. It was. And I didn't like that. But when it came to the questions that she was asking Tisha and Marsau when they were on the trip in Vegas, I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. But Tisha was getting pissed off and, saying, put some respect on my marriage. We've been married the longest. We all know that just because someone's been married a long time, it doesn't mean that that is a healthy relationship. A lot of times people stay in toxic relationships for the sake of trying to say, well, we're going to make this work, or just trying to prove other people wrong who may not be sitting there rooting for them to fail or putting bets on it. Like, well, I got I got this much on them sticking together this long, or I got this much on them getting divorced within 2 years or whatever. Like, so they want to prove the public and the public opinions wrong. So it means absolutely nothing that they've been married as long as they have been. But watching this most recent episode to see Marsau and Hotel, just when Big Lou was standing up for his wife and saying, yeah, my wife, she crossed the line with the questions that she asked of Sheree, but you two are confronting a woman, and a pregnant woman at that, about something that Sheree, who is a grown adult, grown and adult means the same thing, right? A grown woman, an adult woman. And I said this before in a previous conversation / reality chat, that Sheree is not one of those people that cowers in the corner. She knows how to handle her own. Even if she's wrong, she knows how to handle her own. So the fact that Sheree, if she was that offended, could not respond to Tiffany in a way that would shut Tiffany down if she felt like she needed to be shut down, it didn't warrant Hotel, honestly, and definitely it didn't warrant Marsau, coupled with Hotel, to ask these questions of Tiffany and confront her about it. When, like Tiffany said, I came there to speak to Hotel about the March on Selma anniversary, and the conversation was about everything other than that. Like, we didn't get to discuss any of that at all. So I don't think that Tiffany was wrong in speaking to her husband about that. Now, did she do that with the intent of him going to them to speak about it? Yeah, possibly. But she has the right to do that. It's her husband. He is supposed to be her protector, right? And Marsau had absolutely nothing to do with it. So if Hotel wanted to have a discussion with Tiffany about it, then Marsau could have excused himself. I don't care if that was his establishment or his business that they were having the conversation in. That's equivalent to the owner of any restaurant if they went to another place to sit down at the table, and then the owner just happened to be there and he's sitting down at this table and involving himself in this conversation that has absolutely nothing to do with that person. So that was ridiculous to me. But the men on the show, they do stuff like this. They really don't see anything wrong with the way that they treat women. Maurice, his wife, is going through a cancer battle, breast cancer, something that really requires you to not have any stress levels at all. And she's sitting here having to be concerned about pleasing her husband sexually because she's been going through chemotherapy, and she said it's decreased her sex drive. She shouldn't even have that on her mind. But because that's what he needs, she needs to satisfy her man. How selfish of any man to think about their sexual needs over the needs of this person who is fighting literally for their life to stop the spread, to get this toxicity out of their body, and they're having to add more toxicity to their body to kill that toxicity. And then you're going to add your toxic behaviors on top of that, and you're supposed to be the man to cover and protect this woman as your wife, and she's having to stress out over her stepchild. It's not her child. It's not her child. The mother is involved. So this isn't even a situation where the mom is nowhere to be found and she's trying to step up to be the mom that this son is missing. His mom exists. I felt that it was selfish for Maurice to take custody of his son, especially having to add that on top of Kimmy's battle with this disease. And she's having to concern herself with the stepson being disrespectful towards her, not listening to her when she asks him to do things around the house. Why couldn't the son go and stay with his mom, at least for that time period? Even if you feel like it's more beneficial for you as a man to have your son and raise him as he gets older, at least taking that burden off of Kimmy, because that would have been fair. But no, she's asking him questions about the raising of the child and the discipline because the son is not really taking her seriously. And she's trying to have a respectful conversation with Maurice, and he's just not getting it. That's adding to her stress level. It's not fair. And although Tisha allows her husband to jerk around, kick her out of her own office when she's supposed to be the owner of the business. That's why people feel like she's just the owner in name. And for the benefit of being a double minority business, being an African-American woman, it gives you that double minority to be the owner of this business where it may help with getting those contracts. That's just my personal opinion, but I believe that a lot of other people feel that way as well. But he's disrespectful towards her. They're constantly talking about building this manor they call Scott Manor on all of this land that they own. And how long has this show been coming on and they've been talking about that? And on this most recent episode, he's moving her out of this temporary house that they're in to move into an apartment to get work done on that house. And then they're going to move back into that house because Scott Manor may not be available and ready for another 2 to 3 years. It's like freaking ridiculous. It's getting to the point of being another Chateau Charade where nothing is being done. And it's like Nene called it Neverland. And I'm not even making jokes about it. Why not just sell that property? Because allegedly they have several lawsuits that's been filed against them. Just because lawsuits are filed against you doesn't mean that you've already lost. I get that. But I'm saying it's just making them look crazy. And these men on the show, they just all look disrespectful. They all look selfish. They all look, in my opinion, at least the core 3 men that started on the show. I don't know much about Stormy's husband. And like I said, I don't have a problem with Lou, who is Tiffany's husband, Lou Whitlow. But these men, Marsau, Maurice, and Hotel, I just can't with them. They all look just disgusting. They are not respectful of women. And I don't know what Carlos was thinking, creating a show surrounding it about these people. And these 3 guys are definitely not good examples of love and marriage. So the show, it just doesn't make sense to me at all anymore. In the beginning, we didn't know much about them. But as time progressed and went on and you saw more of these people's characters and character flaws, it just made people stop, scratch their head and think and wonder, like, well, this is a terrible, horrible example. And it's already such a thing going on especially on social media about African-American men and African-American women in marriage and how it doesn't work for a lot of people. But I do believe that there are great success stories of it. But unfortunately, when you amplify marriages and failures of marriages such as these, it doesn't put them in a good light. And I get it. A lot of people who are in good marriages and successful relationships, they choose not to put themselves out there and put them, their relationships or their marriages on Front Street because it can cause issues. I definitely agree with that. So I get it. But to amplify these voices for the voices of marriage and African-American relationships it just looks horrible. It's a terrible, terrible display and example of what love and marriage can be and is supposed to be. So I'm sorry. I just feel that these people, they need to go. I'm sorry that Kimmy's been going through the battle in her health. She, I believe, deserves better. But I also feel like she is one of those people, even though she comes across as intelligent and even stronger, a whole lot stronger than Letitia. In my personal opinion, I feel that she would stay with Maurice as well, because not just because she's a little bit older, but I feel that she felt like she got a prize. She's going to stick in it and it can be better. But there's some things that they just have to work on. But I just feel like he's in that stubborn mindset, similar to Marsau, where not much about him is going to change. So I just wanted to talk about that, because just seeing Hotel and Marsau and Lou, who was really doing his best to let them know, like, the thinking of you guys is terrible. Because Lou said to Marsau, all right, then I'll go and confront your wife about something when you're not around. And he's like, well, you're not going to go to my wife. He's like, well, don't go to my wife. I mean, and that's the thing about these guys that really pisses me off about them. I can't stand Hotel, obviously, but I don't like the other two either. I don't like much about them at all. Yeah, they may be just a little higher up on the totem pole when it comes to comparison levels of Hotel. It needs to, but I don't think that they're that far off in terms of their behaviors, because like the old saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. And I feel like Hotel has something on Marsau, because it doesn't make sense to me after Hotel accused this person of being with 20-something women. If someone lied on me like that, I would never call them a friend again, ever. So that just doesn't make sense to me at all. So anyway, guys, you let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.